right, everybody. Welcome to the NBC Game of the Week. This game was played September the 9th, 1978. We are at Fenway Park in Boston for the game between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. A rare treat where we have two 20-game winners on the mound. We have 25-3 Ron Guidry against 20-8 Dennis Eckersley. Going with a little bit different setup than what I normally would do. Don't have the baseball field out or anything like that. We're just going to go straight vanilla, going to the score sheet. Raise this up a little bit more so you can see everything, hopefully. So hopefully that is going to work. Make sure the dice tray and everything is in play. Hello, Kenyon. Good to see you. All right, so I think that'll work right there. All right, first things first, of course, is to get the ballpark effects. Hello, Kathy, and hello, Ernest. Kathy, I don't know how much you know about season ticket baseball or how much you've watched it before, but that's what this whole project is about, was the NBC Game of the Week on season ticket baseball. Hello, Mr. Gudeman. Just to give people the feel of that, growing up as a kid watching the NBC Game of the Week, because back then you didn't have ESPN, you didn't have the MLB network. Basically, the only time you got to see a baseball game was on Saturday afternoons. So that's kind of where it was there. So, all right. So first thing we got to do is get the ballpark effects. Now for September, it's a September day game. So it's 59 degrees is the average temperature at Fenway Park. You have to exceed 83 degrees to have any effect here. So that means these three dice, two D10s and one D6 have to total high enough to surpass this. So they need a total of 84. That means, by my calculations, we need both of these dice to be the 10s, and this has to be a 5. So almost certainly not going to be an effect here. That is a total of 12. So that's going to be a 71-degree day, which is nowhere near there. It's right smack dab in the middle. So there are no effects to add to the home run probability on these deep drives because of the weather. So weather's pretty much basically what you got. Again, Ron Guidry against Dennis Eckersley. And somebody in Facebook mentioned this, and I didn't really think about it until now, but if you notice on these cards, they do have the nicknames, the Red Sox, the Yankees. So most game companies do not have this. I think this is kind of unique to season ticket. Most other game companies do not put the name on there. So I don't know if he bought special rights to do that. I'm assuming he did. I don't know, how else he would have done that, but I didn't even think about it. It didn't even occur to me until somebody on Facebook mentioned it. But yeah, there are, you got the Red Sox and you got the New York Yankees, and you just don't see that in other games. Like I said, I don't know if he's purchased some sort of a thing for that or what, but either way you go, there are starting lineups for today's game. It's going to be Mickey Rivers in center, Randolph at second, Munson catching, Reggie, Hot Dog Jackson, DH, Chris Chambliss at first, Nettles at third, Piniella in right, Roy White in left, and Bucky Bleepin' Dent at short. So there you go. Dennis Eckersley, 20-8 on the season. And we will get this game underway. That's a 317, so we're coming to Mickey Rivers in the 300 column, non-split. 317 falls between 314 and 325, so it's a deep fly to left field, and that's one away. That'll bring up Willie Randolph. That's a 114, so we come over here, and it falls between 100 and 147. We get 3XX. What that means is you take the first number, which in this case is always the red number, you change that red number to a 3. So it goes from a 1 to a 3. So basically just remakes the roll 314 is what it does. You keep the two original white and blue because that's the X's. So you keep those. So it goes from 114 over here to 314. So we come over to Willie Randolph's card, 313 to 330, and we get a deep fly to right field. It's called a redirect. That's the official name for it. It's a redirect, and it happens several places on the pitcher's cards. Hello, Gerald. Hello, Ben. Hello, Kenyon. Ernest. Utah Mike. I'm not Tim, Clee baseball fan. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Kind of got into this and wasn't looking at the chat there for a second. But anyway, Here is, and special thanks to Utah Mike Sports Time Machine for getting me this 1978 NBC schedule. Now, next week, I'm going to go off the schedule. I'm going to go to the B game, not the A game, because the A game next week was these same two teams at Yankee Stadium. But I want to switch off from that. I don't like playing the same game twice in a row. So next week, we're going to the B game, which is the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Montreal Expos from Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. That'll be next week. All right, so here we go. Dennis Eckersley to Munson. That's a 500. 500 are fielding plays, but 500 to 509 are rare plays. So we're going to the rare playbook for the very first time. And it's a bases empty rare playbook. And the rare plays in the book are listed begin on page number 29 in the book. And it says here, base is empty. It's a 500 to 509 range. Base is empty. We go to page 30 through 33. So we're going to flip one page over, 30 to 33. And we're going to roll the 3D10s, and it may have to go to the second page depending on what the number turns out to be. We get a 615. So, and they're deciphered in red, white, and blue order in case you were curious too. So 615. So we go over to the next page because this one only goes to 340. And in fact, we got to go 2 pages over to get to the 615 section. So 615 is way down here, and it says bloop double. Bloop double. Let me raise up a little more because I think it's almost off camera here. Bloop double. Batter hits a double and is injured. Slide into second base. Roll for sliding injury on page 26. Okay, so Thurman Munson's going to hit a double, but he might be injured. All right. So we said to page number 26. So we're going back to page 26. Page 26. Page 26. Okay, page 26. And it says sliding injury. So we're on this injury table under sliding. So we're going to roll to see what happens here. And I don't know what the roll is here. Does it say what dice to roll? That's the question. It's got 56. This is foreign territory for me on this injury chart with the sliding thing here, so I'm not sure. Let's see here. It doesn't really tell me. Can I figure it out on my own? That's the question. Can I figure it out on my own how to do this? Does anybody know for sure how to play this, to do this one? Because I haven't done this before. How do you get, because I don't have 2d6s, so I don't know. Do you roll this to 2d10s? I mean, I'm not sure how you do that. If somebody can tell me, or I can just ignore it and just call it a double and call it a day. That might be the best option. Just give Munson his double and be on with it. So, but if somebody can let me know that plays this game a lot, it's a 1d6 and a 1d10. Okay, thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. All right. I'm assuming the d6 is read first. I'm assuming that's a 61, which would mean greater than 56, which would say he broke his wrist. So I'm thinking that's what it is. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to, rather than do all that, I'm just going to have Thurman Munson. We're going to ignore the injury. I'm not going to do injuries in this game. I just decided that I'm not going to do that. So, because I want Thurman Munson to catch. So I'm going to ignore the injury and just roll on. And we're going to have Munson at second for Hot Dog Jackson. That's a 147. And under Eckersley, that's a redirect to a 347. So we come over to Reggie. 347 falls into 300 to 378 range for a strikeout. So Reggie Jackson will strike out to end the inning. And that will do it for the Yankees. That's right, Ben. He's tough. It's 1978. He ain't going to let that happen to him. So he's going to stay in there. All right. So Guidry now will be facing this lineup for the Red Sox, we got Rick Burleson, Fred Lynn, Jim Rice, Carl Yastrzemski, Carlton Fisk, Bob Bailey, DH, George Scott at first, Hobson, and Frank Duffy at second. He will be playing against the lefty Guidry as they give Jerry Remy the day off. All right, here we go. Burleson. Ooh, 693. That's the ballpark chart, but with the home team batting, you add 10 to this number. So it becomes 703, not 693. And a 703 on a deep drive is a deep drive to center field. So we're going to take these two dice, add them to the power rating of Burleson, which is a 1, and look at the deep drive to center chart. So basically, we're going to add 1 to these two dice. And that is a 16. We added 1 to it, makes it a 17. So Rick Burleson just hits himself a home run. How about that, boy? I'm just getting blasted with text here. I got to block this. This is just ridiculous. Can I get out of this? Hold on. Let me see how do you get out of a group? Let me block this group text. This is just ridiculous. And it's family people doing it too. And they're pissing me off. I don't know how to get out of this to block it. It doesn't give me a chance to block it. But luckily it's on vibrate, but it's still that annoying sound. So sorry about that. All right, so it's a deep drive. He hits a home run. There you go. I just said it. We rolled a 16 on the 2 D10s, and you add the 1 for the power rating of Burleson. He's a power rating of 1. Gives him a 17. Deep fly to center. 17 starts the home run factor. So it is a home run. Yeah, Ben, it's and I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how to block it on my phone. I can delete it, but I don't know. I don't see an option to block the conversation. I wish I knew how to do that, but just all this meaningless conversation that's going on that I really don't want to get into here. And I really want to get out of this, but I don't know how to do it. I'm just going to, you know what I'm going to do? Well, yeah. What I'm going to do here, come on. I am going to just turn this sucker off. I don't need the phone on right now anyway, so it just annoys me and I don't want to deal with it. All right. Here is Fred Lynn. Kind of odd to see him batting second, but that he is. Now 624, so it's back to the ballpark again. But again, you add 3 because the home team is batting. So it becomes a 634, but in this case, that's just a 3-1 ground out. Would have been a 3-6 on if people had been on base, but it's a 3-1 ground out for out number 1. And that'll bring up Jim Rice. Text messages, hold the message down and you can mute it. Okay, let me try that. Well, I'll bring the phone back up to him. I'm not tech savvy by any means, and most of you probably know that. Let's see if I can get this thing to turn back. Oh, here we go. All right, now. Okay. So Jim Rice. 173. And that's a fly ball to right field for out number 2. And that'll bring up Captain Carl Yastrzemski. 382. Non-split. 382 is a 3-6-1 double play, but in this case, it's just a 3-1 ground out again. And it's 1-0 Red Sox after 1, a Rick Burleson home run. Who knew? Rick Burleson had 5 home runs on the year, and he gets one right here. Gives the Yankees, or gives the Red Sox rather, a 1-0 lead. And I'm going with this setup as opposed to the field. So pretty tech savvy to do. Yes, Mr. Gudeman, it definitely does because you are factoring in both things, but Stratamac's still my game. I'm not going to leave that by any means. So, but yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, there are some things in here that make the game very interesting. There's some things in there, I don't particularly care for, but it does have definitely some good qualities to it for sure. All right, Tim, let me see if I can figure out what you were telling me to do here. All right, you're saying go to the text message, hold the message down, and you can mute it. Okay. So we're holding it down. It's not getting. Oh, here we go. It says delete, but I don't see anything that talks about muting it. So I've got this message here. I'm trying to mute it. I'm trying to not mute it. I'm trying to block it so I don't have to keep seeing this crap all the time. At least not for right now, and I don't see any option to do that. I get delete message, which I can do all day long. Maybe I can turn the notifications off. Maybe that's another way to do it. See, that's a possible way. Maybe I can just turn the notifications off so I don't hear the buzzing anymore. I'll do that for now and see what happens. I don't know. It's annoying. You're welcome, Jeff. No problem whatsoever. I will say this is not a inexpensive game to purchase. Now, if you do PDF, it's very reasonable, but the printed sets are up there. I mean, they're good quality paper and good quality, nice color, nice feel to them. Nice, they feel good in your hands. Nice big writing, easy, everything's to see. But you could always do that yourself on the PDF. So, however you wish to do it, if you want to play it. But you can go online, you can go on the website for free and download a couple teams and the rules and try it for free, and it doesn't cost you anything. But you do have to print out the PDF sets, or you can look at it on the computer, keep it on the screen, and roll your dice and play it off the screen. You can do it that way too. All right, here's Chambliss to start the top of the second, 137, and that's another redirect. It'll be a 337. So 337 is going to be a base hit, single for Chris Chambliss. So a lot of times you get redirected to a strikeout. A guy with high strikeout total will get redirected to a strikeout. But in this case, Chambliss, good contact hitter, gets himself a base hit. And here is Craig Nettles. I have both, Dr. D. I have one printed and one PDF. And obviously the printed, I just like printed. I'm not a big fan of PDFs. So, I like the concept of PDF, but if I have a PDF or a printed set, I'm going to play with the printed set 99% of the time. It's just the way it is. All right, we got a fielding check, 533. 3 means we are looking at the first baseman, and 3 is the number on the first baseman we're looking for. So the first baseman is George Scott. So we go to George Scott's card and look at his 533 number, and 533 is a 3 unassisted ground out. So the runner will advance to second base, but he does get the ground out, at least to get one out. It's still coming up. I can't block this stuff. It's still coming up. It's still coming up. Does anybody know how to block this stuff? That's my question. Tim, you were telling me to press down on this, or you press down on the, I'm not sure what you were telling me to do, because it gets here and I get to where I can edit profile or invite someone, but I don't want to do that. I want to delete it. I want to get out of this. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And that's what I don't know how to do. That's where I'm technically lost, is I don't know how to do that. So I don't know. Well, I've got it muted, so I didn't hear any buzzing this time, Ben. So that's okay. It just fills in my screen and I just close it and don't worry about it. But the buzzing was annoying. It was like being near a beehive, because it was just message after message of people chiming back and forth and liking this and unliking, it's just a big pain in the butt. All right, here's Lou Piniella. 423. That is a split chance. Piniella against a right-hander. 423 falls in the 409 to 428 range. It's a 6-4-3 double play, but the runner's already on second. So this turns basically into a 6-3 ground out with the runner on second holding. So Piniella has to hold. And here is Roy White. Whoa, we got a hop and dice. Even with just a 3, we got a hop and dice. We got a 393. So that's non-split. Roy White, 393 is a single plus. That means with the plus sign, that means any runner on second will score. So that's going to be that's like, single 2 stars in Strat. That's a single RBI single from Roy White has tied this game. So Roy White ties the game. Well, that's kind of hard. You got to be sensitive about that, Utah Mike, because that's family members, and I don't want to stir up another hornet. That might be a whole nother. I might get a 15 text off of that saying I want to be out. 142, and that's going to be a redirect to a 342. 342 is a pop-up or foul out to first base, which however you want to look at it. And that's going to end the inning. Hey, Doug, good to see you. Apologize for bringing all this text crap into the game, but when it's disrupting what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find a way around it. All right, here is Carlton Fisk. But right now, just by turning notifications off, that seems to have helped. I'm not getting the buzzing anymore. It might pop up on my screen, but I'm not getting the buzzing. The buzzing is what was here. It was like fingernails on a chalkboard. All right. You guys might not have heard the buzzing on the stream, but I definitely heard it myself. So, all right, 589. That's trouble. That's a fielding check. When you get a blue 9, you're always in trouble. So 8 is the center fielder, Mickey Rivers. So we're going to Mickey Rivers, but his 589 is a single with a runner on first. Can move up, but there's nobody on first, so it's just a base hit for Carlton Fisk. But when you get that blue 9, you pretty much have no chance. Even Gold Glovers don't have a chance. So here's the designated hitter, Bob Bailey. We get a 527. We're back to that blue die being a large number. That's going to be Thurman Munson, but he might have a pass ball or something on this. 527 is a walk. 528 would have been a pass ball. 527 is a walk. It's a 522 who would have framed a strikeout, but here it's a walk. So Bob Bailey will walk, and that puts runners at first and second with nobody out. First and second, no one out. And here is George Scott. 101. That's a redirect to a 301, and that will be a strikeout. First strikeout for Guidry. Takes care of George Scott, and here comes Butch Hobson. That's a 192. Oh, it just buzzed again. I thought I turned that crap off. And then the annoying part is it's the same message over and over. Somebody writes something and somebody else likes it, so I got to hear the buzz on twice. Now it's 2 people like the same thing, so I got to hear the buzzing twice. You know what? That phone's just going somewhere else, out of my hearing. So there won't be any 7th inning stretch music today because I need the phone for that, and I just don't want to deal with the phone right now. Can't deal with it. All right, I almost forgot where I was. 190. Did I roll 192? Or did I don't even remember what I did now. Obviously, there's a 192 here. Is that what I rolled? I guess that's what I rolled. If I did, it's a wild pitch. So now I don't remember if I rolled that or not because all that stuff was just distracting me to no end. So I'm just going to re-roll everything. Start over. Call it a redo. 488. So Hobson against a left-hander. 488 is a fly ball to center field plus. So that when it's plus, that means I believe all runners advance 1 base on that. No, runner on second and third can tag. So the runner on second will tag. Fisk will tag and go to third base, but the runner on first has to stay where he is. And obviously, if a runner had been on third, he would score on sacrifice fly. But it's 2 outs now. And 2 on. Runners on the corners. 1-1 tie for Frank Duffy. Captain, we certainly did not have that issue in 1978. In a lot of ways, I wouldn't mind going back to that bygone era. I mean, I love some of the technology, but simpleness of basic things are lost, I think, sometimes. 281 is Guidry against a right-handed hitting Duffy. So 281 is a 5-4-3 double play, but there's already 2 outs, so we're just going to call it a 5-4 fielder's choice, and that will end the inning. At the end of 2, it's 1-1. We were better off back then, and we didn't have all this. You didn't have social media out there where people bicker and argue and all that crap, and people just, got along and loved your neighbor, as they say. So, don't want to go off on that diatribe, but, Anyway, here's Mickey Rivers, top of the order. That's a 500. It's another rare play. We're back to a rare play. Rare play again. Base is empty once again. I'm not going to do an injury. I will do whatever rare play says to do, but I'm not going to do an injury. So we're going to re-roll in the rare play. and that's a 216. So we're going to the rare plays on page 30 and under 216. No play injury. Oh, I'm not doing injuries, so I'm not going to worry about it. Pitcher suffers a pitch injury. I'm not going to worry about it. So we're going to skip that and redo the roll. I've already set the precedent with Thurman Munson, so I'm not going to do the injuries on this. That's for more if you're doing a season replay and you want to have injuries involved. 435 for Rivers against the right-handed pitching Eckersley. 435 is a 4-3 ground out. We're 1 away. Here's Willie Randolph. 404. 404 is going to be a base on balls against the right hand. Either way, righty or lefty, it's a base on balls. 1 away for Thurman Munson, who doubled his last time up and by my decision avoided a broken wrist. 210. 210 is against Munson as a right-hander. 210 is a 4-6-3 double play, and that will end the inning. So Munson hits into the double play, hits a double his first time up, hits into a double play his second time up. We go to the bottom of the third, tied at 1. Guidry will face in the top of the order. Rick Burleson, he homered his first time up. We get a 256, and that's a split chance against a right-handed batter. So 256 is a strikeout. Boy, he's got a big strikeout range, 235 to 280, courtesy of those 248 strikeouts. So he found that range. 256 fits right in here nicely. And Burleson will strike out. 1 away. Here's Freddie Lynn. That's a 417. So Lynn against the lefty Guidry. It's a lefty on lefty matchup. 417 is a 4-6-3 double play, but with the bases empty, it's just a 4-3 ground out. 2 down for Jim Rice. Oh, on a treadmill. That's kind of hard to type doing that, I would think. 5-10. So we don't get the rare play. We get a fielding check on the pitcher, but a blue 0 means he makes that play 99% of the time. So 5-10 up here for Guidry is a 1-6-3 double play. We're really just a 1-3 ground out. And that's going to end the inning. So we go to the fourth, tied at 1. And after the last couple Saturdays getting big blowout wins by one team over the other, it's kind of nice to see we might have a close game for a change. I don't know if I've ever done a game with 2 20-game winners pitching against each other. I guess I have at some point, but it's been a while. And here's Hot Dog Jackson. Struck out his first chance. That's a 215. So Eckersley against a left-hander on a 215 is a 4-3 ground out. 1 away. That'll bring up Chris Chambliss. 264 for Chambliss. Again, Eckersley against a left-handed hitting Chambliss. 264 is a deep drive to right field, so this could go. His power is a 4. So I'm going to take these 2 dice, roll them, add them up, and add them to 4, and then correspondingly check that against the deep drive to right column. He basically needs a 17 or more to guarantee a home run. He's got a 4 here, so if these 2 dice total 13 or higher, it's pretty much going to be a home run. That's an 8, though. So we're going to 8 plus the 4 is a 12. We'll still get a base hit, probably. 12, it's a double. 12 is a double. The runner on first, if there was one, could try to advance home, but I don't think there's anybody on base. That's a leadoff, or it's a 1-out double for Chambliss. He is 2 for 2. Is Chris Chambliss. So Chambliss at second with 1 out. Hello, Joel. Good to see you. And here is Nettles. 258. Nettles is a lefty, so 258. We're back into the deep drive to right again. Boy, his deep drive, Kyle, he must have given up a lot of home runs because he gave up 30 home runs. So that's probably the part of the reason. He's got a big sweeping section of deep drives here. So we're going right back to it. This time Nettles is a 7. So we're going to add 7 to these 2 dice. And that's an 11. That's an 18. That's a home run. No, I'm sorry. It's not. Deep drive to right. It's a fly ball to right plus. That's the one number that wasn't a home run is the 18. We roll an 11. His power is a 7. It totals 18. If it had been a deep drive to any other part of the park, it would have been a home run. But to right field, it's a fly ball to right deeply. And that will move Chambliss to third, but certainly not the same as a home run, as that's tracked down out there by the right fielder, Jim Rice, as Dwight Evans is off in this game. So 2 down for Lou Piniella. Thought it was going to be a home run, but he hit the one number he couldn't afford to hit. That's a 5-0-4, and we're back to a rare play. What, a third rare play in 4 innings. How often does that happen? This time we got a runner on base. So if we go back to the original rare play selection, it tells you what page to go to. So with a runner on first and 2 outs, we're going to page 35. Page 35 of the rare playbook. So we're going to flip over to page 35 and roll for the rare play. Again, I'm not doing injuries. I'll do anything else on rare play, but I won't do injuries. And by the same token, I guess I shouldn't do ejections either. So roll and see what we get. We get a 321. 321 right here. E2, R1, right field. So catcher throws behind the runner at first, but the throw sails into right field. The runner on first advances to second. R1 may try to advance to third by successfully challenging the right fielder's arm. Okay. But it's not a run on first, it's a run on third. So obviously I used the wrong page. So let me go back and look at what I did wrong here. That was for a runner on first only, so I should not have used that. Should have used over here runner on third. I was thinking it was a runner on first. Runner on third means we go over here to page 30 and 33. So I'm going to keep the same roll, 321, and look at it from this perspective. 321, and it says strikeout. Batter strikes out looking as ejected. Well, I'm not going to do the ejection thing, so it's just a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. If I'm not doing injuries, I can't do ejections because that would be kind of hypocritical to do one and not the other. So in this game, I'm just not going to do either one. So we go to the bottom of the fourth. And I'll tell you what, it's been nice the last inning, not having to worry about the phone or hearing it buzz. That's been really, 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 really nice. Some of the self-help gurus and stuff you see on YouTube or whatever talk about having like a time where you just get away from all devices, and I'm kind of, falling into that category, to be quite honest with you. Maybe take a break from it for a while. All right, here's your Stremski. That's a 115, and that's a redirect to a 315. 315 is a fly to left field, and that is out number 1. Here's Carlton Fisk. 657, but the home team's batting, so it becomes 667. 667 is a bloop single. So if he'd have been a visiting player, he would have grounded out, but that's the home field advantage baked in right there. Bloop single for Carlton Fisk. He's 2 for 2. So Fisk is aboard, and here's Bob Bailey, the DH. 156, and that's going to be a strikeout for Guidry. And for Guidry, that is strikeout number 3. 2 down for George C. Scott. 6, I guess that's a 6 there. We'll call it a 6. 646 becomes 656 with the home team batting. 656, though, is going to be a 3-1 ground out to end the inning. So that'll do it for the Red Sox. They get the base hit, nothing else. We go to the 5th, tied at 1. One thing about these printed cards, though, they're very slick. If you put them down and slide them a little bit, they'll slide off the table on you. So you got to be careful. They'll slide away. No question about it. All right, here's Roy White. 142. 142 is a redirect to a 342. 342 is a 4-3 ground out. So White will ground out. Brings up Bucky Dent. 330. 330 non-split. 330 is a 6-3 ground out. 2 down for Mickey Rivers. Mick the Quick. He's 0 for 2. 499. 499 against a right-hander is a deep drive for Mickey Rivers. His power is a 4. If he was facing a lefty, he would have struck out. But against a righty, he gets a deep drive opportunity. He's a power rating of 4. We're going to roll the 2d10, add it to 4. So that's a 14, comes an 18. That might be a home run. No, once again, the 18 is the deep fly to right. It happened again. That's a 14, and his power is a 4. So he hit that Bermuda Triangle of an 18 here. In the midst of all these home runs, he hit the 18 again. Just a deep fly to right, and it's going to end the inning. So Mick the Quick just missed it. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 1 apiece. And Eckersley has gotten away with a couple of bad pitches, but Fenway Park has bailed him out. All right, here's Butch Hobson, bottom of the order. That's a 674, but again, home team batting makes it 684. 684 is a single. So it's leadoff single for Butch Hobson. There's a plus, but no runners on base. It would just mean that everybody would advance 2 bases, but nobody was on to advance. So we go to Mr. Duffy. He's an 8 bunter. So I think this is, I don't normally like to bunt. I think it's a terrible strategy in most situations, just like the hit and run is, but I will go ahead and bunt in this one. I think it's the number 9 hitter. He's not a very good hitter. He's 260, I know, but he's just still not. I don't think of Frank Duffy as a good hitter. So we're going to have a sacrifice bunt. His bunt rating is an 8. And what we're going to do to resolve the bunt is roll all 3 dice, add it to the 8 bunt rating, and see what we got. There's nothing about corners in or anything. You can't adjust anything like that like you can in Strat or other games. You go straight with the bunt rating. So we get a total of 19. The 9, 9, the 1 is 19, plus the 8 bunt rating is a 27. So 27 plus says runners, it's a 3-to-1 successful bunt if, says runners advance, batter safe if speed is greater than, if speed plus these 3 dice, a new 3 dice roll, is greater than 10 plus the arm of the first baseman. Well, the arm of the first baseman is Chris Chambliss. His arm rating is a 2. So we're going to add 2 to the 10 here, makes that a 12. So if the speed rating of the bunter, in this case Duffy, plus these 3 dice is greater than or equal to 12, then it will be, greater than or equal to 12, then it will be basically a bunt single. So his speed is a 2. So basically they cancel each other out because the 2 from the arm rating cancels out the 2 from the speed. So basically if these 3 dice total 10 or higher, he beats it out. And they do. So, and he does. So Duffy beats it out, bunt single. Trying to sacrifice, and he ends up getting a bunt single. Dr. D, this is what I do. And, you could do however you wish. But what I do is I take some cardstock stuff, and I put a cardstock on the front, and I put a cardstock on the back and use a rubber band, but the cardstock protects it. So that's kind of how I do it. I don't have any baggies to put them in. I use rubber bands, but I put a cardstock in front and a cardstock in the back. Usually it's an extra player. I print off a PDF, and that seems to work well for me, but do whatever works for you is what I like to say. Here's Burleson now, 482, and against a lefty Guidry, 482 is a fly to center field deep. R2 can try to go to third if he so chooses. Hobson, what kind of run rating does Hobson have? He's on second base. He runs, his speed is a 3. The arm rating of the center fielder, Rivers, his arm is a 4. So you're looking at a -1 right there. So I think they're going to go ahead and hold him there. They're not going to risk it. That'll bring up Fred Lynn, 1 out and 2 on still. It's definitely more complex. You can go in the weeds on this game. I'm playing this pretty much more of a basic type style, but there's a whole lot of stuff you can add into it to make it as complicated as you want. I think it has a higher learning curve than Stratomac, most definitely. It's taken me a while, and I still, because I only play it once a week, so there's a lot of things on there I still have questions about. But if I ever sat down and played a whole season with it or just played it over and over and over, I'm sure I'd probably get the hang of it better. But it's definitely some complications too. I mean, it's all statistically based in the complications, but there are complications. All right, so here is Freddie. That's a 253, and Lynn's a lefty. So we go over here, 253 left-handed. That's a strikeout for Guidry. Strikeout number 4. I found it interesting that on the pitcher cards, they list the batting averages against lefty and righty batters. See on Guidry, lefties hit 155, righties hit 205, but on the batter cards, it just lists their regular average. I thought that was kind of interesting how they do it for one but not the other. But both are factored in, obviously. But just thought that was interesting that they did it that way. So 2 outs for Jim Rice. Runner still at first and second. 580, but that's going to help out the center fielder Rivers because that blue 0 makes it almost where you can't mess it up. So we go to Rivers for a 580, and that's just a fly to center. And that's going to end the inning. So after the first 2 are on, the Red Sox can't do anything else with it. And at the end of 5 innings of play, it's still 1-1. And Eckersley back out will face Randolph, Munson, and Hot Dog Jackson. Top of the 6th. Eckersley stamina is a 7, same as Guidry, which means the fatigue starts in the 8th inning. 521, again, defensive play, this one for Fisk, but the blue 1 makes it very simple. It's probably framed it for a strikeout without looking, but let's look. Yep, 521, he frames that pitch for a strikeout. So Willie Randolph is out on strikes. And for Eckersley, that's 1, 2, I think it's just his 3rd strikeout for Eckersley. Here's Munson. He's doubled and hit into a double play. It's a 159, and that's going to be a fly to center. That's 2 down. And that'll bring up Hot Dog Jackson. 130. That's a redirect to a 330, which is a strikeout. So Reggie is down on strikes once again. Strikeout number 4 for Eckersley. And 2 of those 4 have been Jackson. So we go to the bottom of the 6th, still 1-1. And the venerable Carl Yastrzemski steps to the plate. 436. And he's facing a left-hander. So 436 against lefties is a 4-3 ground out. Same against righties. Not all results differ, but some of them do. Like this one, a strikeout against a righty turns to a single. So some of the things are a little bit different. This one here from a strikeout to a walk. So there are lefty-righties sprinkled in this game. It's not fully like Stratomatic is, but it's sprinkled in. 437, and again against the lefty, 437 is a 6-3 ground out, 2 down. And that brings up Bob Bailey. That's a 631, but again, the home team is batting, makes it 641. And 641 is just a 4-3 ground out to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Red Sox. We go to the 7th. It's still tied at 1 apiece. Both pitchers hunkering down and not giving an inch. All right, so Eckersley now will be facing Chris Chambliss, Greg Nettles, and Lou Piniella. That is a 311 and a non-split. That's a strikeout. Strikeout number 5 for Eckersley. Tonight, if I may or may not stream tonight. If I do, it's going to probably be around 9 o'clock or so. And it would be the Demolition League, Cubs against the Twins in the Demolition League, if I do that. 87 replay picks up again Monday morning with the Orioles against the A's. Mike Boddicker against Dave Stewart, I believe, is the matchup. That's going to be Monday morning around 8:30 or 9. All right, Eckersley to Nettles. That is a 281. So Nettles is a lefty. Come over here, 281. That's a deep drive to right. So once again, and Nettles has a 7 power rating. So he just needs to avoid rolling an 11. You don't want to roll an 11 because that's going to give you the fly to right. You want something that goes beyond that. So with the 2D6s, if he can get, with his power rating of 7, if he can get these 2D6s to 12 or more, he's got himself a home run. That's a 10. He still has the home run because that's a home run there on 17. His power is a 7. Those are a 10. Total of 17. It's gone. Home run, Greg Nettles. Interesting how they would flip-flop that. You would think they'd flip-flop it that way, but for whatever reason, he has it inverted like that. But it's a home run for Greg Nettles, one way or the other. He breaks the tie. It's 2-1. Nettles had 27 home runs in 1970. Anything that's an out that's not a strikeout, I don't care. We'll call it whatever it is just now. Let's see, 493. That's going to be against Eckersley, a righty. 493. That's a deep drive for Roy White. Against a lefty, he would strike out, but against a righty, he gets a deep drive chance. His power is a 5. We go right back here, roll the 2d10s, add 5 to whatever we get, and see if we get the home run range. Nope, we get a 3. So that's a total of 8, which is a deep fly to right field to end the inning. But the home run from Greg Nettles has put the Yankees ahead. And now, like I said, no 7th inning stretch song because I turned my phone off and put it away. Or I didn't turn it off, but I just kind of tossed it to the side back there where I don't have to hear it anymore. And here's Bob Bailey. That is actually Bob Bailey made the out last time. It's actually George Scott's at bat. I forgot to move him. George Scott. 667 becomes 677 with the home team batting. 677 is going to be a base hit. So George Scott again takes advantage of home cooking. And the Red Sox with that plus 10 get the base hit. And now the tying run is on base. And that'll bring up Butch Hobson. 465 against a lefty. 465 is going to be a double to left field. Look at that. Double to left. 459 to 465 is a double to left. When the position is listed, you have the option to challenge that outfielder's arm to try to score. George Scott speed rating is only a 2, so I don't think he's going to want to challenge anybody, especially with nobody out. So they will hold him up at third, but we could do that if we wanted to. It just wouldn't be a smart move. But second and third, and nobody out for Frank Duffy. Infield for the Yankees has come in. That's a 352. 352 is a pop up to first base. Big out there with no runners advancing. Now here's Burleson. The infield still in with Burleson at the plate. That's a 315, and that's going to be a strikeout for Guidry. So Guidry trying to pitch his way out of this. Strikeout number 5 for Guidry. Now all he has to do is get Fred Lynn. He's gotten Fred Lynn 3 times. He's 0 for 3. Lefty on lefty matchup. 346. 346 is a 4-3 ground out, and he's going to do it. How about that? He pitches out of the jam. So now you think maybe you should have sent the runner from Scott home on that first play, but you didn't think the other 3 guys were going to make an out like that. Plus, George Scott not exactly the nimblest though on the base paths. If he gets thrown out, then he looks silly. So Eckersley back out. This is the fatigue inning for both now. Once you get to the 8th inning, that 7 is complete. They've pitched 7 complete innings. Now we're into the 8th. So if he gives up a hit or a walk or anything like that, we're going to add 10 to the deep drive, to the ballpark rolls, not the deep drive rolls, but to the ballpark rolls. So here's Dent. 576. That's trouble for the shortstop. In this case, Bucky Dent. I'm sorry, not Bucky Dent. In this case, Rick Burleson. Let's see if he can make the play. 576. I'm sorry. I was supposed to be left field, not shortstop. What am I doing? Left field, that is, in left field is Yastrzemski. So 576 for Yastrzemski is going to be a double. 575, he'd have made the play, but once you hit that blue die switch to a 6, it becomes a double for Bucky Dent. Dent with a leadoff double as Yastrzemski unable to get to it. And that'll bring up Mickey Rivers. That is a 225 against Rivers, a lefty, 225. And that's a single plus to, 225 is a single plus, so that will score the run from second base, making it 3-1 Yankees. And now the Red Sox bullpen is starting to stir. We'll look at who they have available down there. You got left-hander Tom Bergmeyer, because we are into expanded rosters for September, so there's a lot of pitchers down there. You got left-hander Bill Lee and left-hander Andy Hassler, 3 lefties. Then you got Bob Stanley, Alan Ripley, believe it or not, Dick Drago, and Bill Campbell. So there's all sorts of guys they could bring in. You got plenty of arms down the pen. So who do you go to? They're going to go to Bill Campbell. They're not going to waste any time. They don't want to give up base hits on the ballpark chart for being fatigued. So it's going to be Bill Campbell. So Eckersley is going to go 6+ innings. And he's going to give up, so far, 3 runs, but you can't do anything else because you don't know if these runs are going to score or not. I think the only walk I see is for Randolph. We know he struck out 5. See how many hits he gave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits I've got him for. But can't fill out the runs. Right now it's 3, but it could be as much as 4 if Mickey Rivers scores. So can't fill it all in for sure. All right, so Bill Campbell facing Willie Randolph. Oh, cool, Michael. Good deal. 76 is a wonderful season. You could even do like a Mark Fidrich replay or something. It'd be kind of cool for something like this, because I was thinking about doing a Guidry replay at one point with this engine in this season. 541, that's the second baseman, and that's going to be Duffy. Well, the blue 1, that should be easy. Wait a minute. Yeah, he's a second baseman, so that means he's primarily at third, so we're going to what they call his secondary fielding. So we use this special card called rating-based defense, because when they're rated for multiple defensive positions, they have their main position here, but if they're not playing their main position, which he is not, you come over here to ratings-based defense. He is a second baseman. So on the infield, we're checking the blue die on the infield. If it's lower, equal or lower to, we're looking at second baseman here. For equal or lower to an arm, it's a 4-6-3 double play. Well, his arm is a 0, so it's not that. So that fails. We'll come down here to the range. Is the blue die less than or equal to his range? Yes, his range is a 2. That's a 1. So that means we use this result, 4-3 ground out. Runner will advance, but that's the ratings-based defense. When a player is playing a position that's not his main position, that's what you use. All right, here's Thurman Munson now with 1 out. That's a 170, and a 170 is a bloop single to first base. A bloop single. But with less than 2 outs, a bloop single, the runner has to hold and can only get 1 base because he does not know if the ball is going to be caught. With 2 outs, he scores automatically, gets 2 bases automatically. But on a bloop single, with less than 2 outs, you only get 1 base. And here is Hot Dog Jackson. We get a 207. 207 for Campbell against a lefty is going to be a walk. That's going to load the bases for Chambliss. And boy, now you wonder if you should bring a lefty in, because some of these results are not helping them against the right-handed pitching. So they're going to pull Campbell and go with Bergmeyer. So Bergmeyer is your new pitcher, left-hander. Let's see, Campbell gives up a hit. He's gonna go 1/3 of an inning, give up a hit and a walk. Don't know about the runs yet. So Chambliss will bat against Bergmeyer, lefty on lefty, with the bases loaded and 1 out. Infield looking for that double play. 477, and that's here against the left-hander. 477, still going to be a single plus, so it doesn't really matter about the lefty-righty. Single plus means the runner on third scores, then runner on second scores. Runner on first has to stop at second. But now we can close the book on both Bergmeyer and Eckersley. Eckersley will be charged with that 4th run. And Campbell's going to be charged with the 1 run. First and second, 3 runs are in now. It is now 5-1 Yankees. And here's Nettles. 371. non-split chance. That's a 4-6-3 double play to get him out of the inning. They could have used that on the previous at bat and didn't get it. But 3 runs come in, and we will go to the 9th. That'll be it for Bergmeyer. He's going to go 2/3 of an inning, give up a hit, nothing else. They will go to right-hander Dick Drago for the 9th. Drago will be the new pitcher in the 9th inning for the Red Sox. But right now, Guidry now has a 5-1 lead to protect. And he's going to be facing Rice, Yastrzemski, and Fisk. 352 non-split. That is a strikeout of Rice. He's got a huge strikeout range, 300 to 360. That's strikeout number 6 for Guidry. Brings up Yaz. He's 0 for 3. 352. And that's going to be a 4-3 ground out. 2 down for Carlton Fisk. 376 for Fisk. Non-split again is a foul out to first or pop up to first, and that's going to end the inning. So Guidry going for the complete game. Gave up a leadoff home run to Burleson, hasn't given up anything since. And he keeps full endurance. He has not given up anything after his point of weakness inning. And now Dick Drago into the game. We'll be facing Piniella, White, and Dent here in the top of the 9th of a 5-1 ball game. 447. That's a left-right split, so against a right-hander, 447 is a strikeout. Had Bergmeyer still been in the game, that would have been a single, but with the righty in now, that's a strikeout. Strikeout for Piniella is Roy White. 453, and again, against a right-hander, 453 is a foul out to third base for out number 2 for Bucky Dent. 609. No advantage because the visiting team is batting, so you don't change the number at all. 609 is a strikeout. So Drago gets the strikeout. He's going to go 1 inning, strikeout 2, give up nothing. And we go to the bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Red Sox. They'll have to do it against Ron Guidry. And in case Guidry runs into any issues, there is this guy waiting in the wings. Goose Gossage is loosening in the bullpen just in case. They don't think they're going to need him, but just in case, it's better to have him there. All right, Bob Bailey is a scheduled hitter, but the Red Sox will look at their bench and see if they can find somebody better. He's a 191 hitter, so we're going to pull him, and they'll bring out Dwight Evans to pinch hit. So Evans will do the pinch hitting. So it'll be Evans, Scott, and Hobson due up for the Red Sox. Oh, they won 7-0 real world in this game. Okay, cool. 266, and against a right-hander for Guidry, 266 is a strikeout. That is strikeout number 7 for Mr. Guidry. Might be interesting to do a Guidry replay in this engine, see how it handles it. Whoa, hopping dice. Hopping dice. 357, non-split, that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 8. Of course, if I did that, then would it be kosher to use this as like one of his starts in his replay, or would I have to replay this game if I did a Guidry replay? What do you guys think? Would it be? Do you think I would have to replay this game, or could I use this as part of his pitching replay? All right, 440. 440 against the lefty is a 5-3 ground out, and there's your ball game. You didn't need Goose Scotch. This one's over. You say use the game. Okay. I didn't see any reason in redoing it twice, so I'll keep this score sheet just in case. Not that I'm going to do a replay with Guidry, but the thought was there. 5-1 was our final score. And we'll see here, the Yankees got 5 runs on 9 hits. I don't believe, were there any errors in the game? I don't think there were any errors in the game. No errors in the game for either team. Red Sox, they got the home run to start the game. Let's see, one, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got him for 7 hits. So Guidry pitches a 7-hitter, giving up the 1 run, which was the home run to Burleson. He walked Bailey in the second, and that's the only walk I see. And we know he struck out 8. So Guidry the winner, Eckersley the loser. Yankees win it 5-1 here on the NBC Game of the Week. Next Saturday, we turn the page literally and figuratively and go to Pittsburgh. It'll be Don Robinson against Ross Grimsley. Pittsburgh Pirates hosting the Montreal Expos. That'll be the game next Saturday at noon. So like that, because it's National League, I get to pull out the pitcher hitting cards again. I like the non-DH games whenever I can get them. So looking forward to that. So I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your college football if that's your thing. Enjoy whatever you're doing, whatever your thing is. And like I said, tonight I may or may not. I haven't decided yet. I haven't even filled in the score sheet yet, but I may or may not do this Cubs and Minnesota game in the Demolition League. It will be game number 34. But you can see I haven't filled any information in yet. I don't even know who the starting pitchers are going to be yet. I got to look at the lineups and stuff. But if I do a game tonight, this is what it would be: the Cubs and the Twins from Target Field. If I don't do that, then I would see you all again on Monday morning around 8:30ish or so for the next game in the 1987 American League replay. Oakland A's against the Baltimore Orioles from Oakland. Dave Stewart against Mike Boddicker. That would be the pitching matchup. So I hope you all have a great day, whatever your plans are. Stay safe out there. I want to see you back. Enjoy the hobby, no matter what game you choose to play, whether it's this game, Stratomatic, APA, whatever the case may be. Payoff pitch, inside pitch, pick your favorite. A computer game, whatever the case may be. And yes, I said APA. I even don't mind if people enjoy APA, even though it's a game I don't really like. But hey, that's why I say play the game you want to play the way you want to play it. So until next time, I think I've already used my catchphrase before I even meant to say it. But until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.